Welcome to Kidswear Therapy Podcast, brought to you by Pirouette Media. If you enjoy listening, please remember to follow, like, or even review us wherever it is you listen. Kidswear Therapy is a safe space to discuss the ups and the downs, the positives and the irritations of the kidswear industry. So join Linda and myself and our wonderful guests on Kidswear Therapy.
Hi, Katie.
And we're back, Linda.
We are. End of a long summer.
Yep, everybody's back at school and look at us. We are kind of back at it with Kidswear Therapy. So we just stopped, after Pity Bimbo because we were pretty exhausted. And but we, to get going, again, we're going to quickly kind of go through, obviously you attended CIFF and I attended Playtime New York. So I'm just going to get the lowdown on what you thought of CIFF, Linda.
Always a lovely experience. Always lovely to go to Copenhagen. Interesting. This year they changed the stands. The stands weren't personalised as much. People couldn't personalise them so much to what they wanted to do. They had a very uniform look, very sort of Scandi. Everybody had the same name boards, and they reduced the price for people.
So did you see that as a good thing that it was a uniform look, or did you think that it meant that the brand couldn't show their personality?
Mix of the two. I mean, it made it look very clean and very nice. But at the same time, some of the brands wanted to put up big posters and they weren't able to. They basically got rid of the walls between the stands. And signs were hung from the ceiling. Some people had suspended posters from the ceiling.
Right, okay,
but at the same time, you couldn't have like a big stand size, big poster.
Oh, I think that's a shame actually, because it's funny when, like, going back to like what we did with the Piazza, like the Pirouette Piazza at Pity, the whole idea was to actually really simplify as well the branding of everything, so that the branding was, we had the stripes, but we had a very light kind of lemon color as the backdrop to everything. But the brands were allowed one picture, and I do think that the one is very important to have a lifestyle or a campaign image just to capture that, capture the buyer's attention.
Yeah.
So
well, they had a kind of back wall area,
right?
As it
Okay.
were. They could put something on that, but they weren't a booth as such. There were rails. The
Right.
rails were the division. Between the stands, and made it quite smooth to go from one stand to the other. So it stopped the somewhat hemmed-in feeling. I think on the whole, the people's views were positive. So I think on the whole, people liked it. I think probably they liked the price reduction.
Yeah, I had some feedback. Like, I was talking with a brand yesterday that was there, but they weren't. Felt it was really, really, really quiet, like to the point they felt it was a bit sad. And I think that, but I do think that it has been a tricky season no matter what across the board. But they said that it was really quiet, very quiet.
Yeah, and it's been like that before as well.
Yeah.
And talking to a couple of the organisers, they were saying they were very much encouraging people to think of it as a showroom more than a trade fair. The brands, they don't have a showroom as such, a lot of those brands. And so they were encouraging them to make appointments. So a lot of buyers that were going in were just going to see people who'd made appointments. So if you're, this is what brands have to do now. They're going to have to, fill up that diary and actually get the buyers to try and pin them down to an appointment for them to see. So passing trade, I don't think you get so much now.
That's really interesting though, isn't it? Because that's shifting like the burden onto the brand in a way. Because obviously, like that's I think it's a mixture. A good show's a mixture of both because, and I think that's been going that way for a long time at CIFF, is the fact that, I mean, I remember a Monday in Copenhagen, she was really using it as a showroom, and local brands were, and I think it's a really good idea. But I think that you need everybody working at this at the moment. You need your show to be encouraging the buyers in, and the brands need to know that as well. But then I also completely agree with the show that brands need to work so hard to contact those buyers. Don't just presume that they're going to kind of just walk in there.
By.
Yeah. It's just think how likely is it for Leonardo DiCaprio or for all these people just to walk by you someday? You need to make sure you're putting yourself in the right position.
Yeah.
I don't know how that actually works, but never mind.
Yeah. And then the other thing is it's held at the beginning of August. It's prime holiday time, especially for people with kids. So, there's a certain element of, I think on the whole, the winter shows tend to be busier. Pitti was certainly busier on the second day in the winter. So I think you've always got that in the summer months, that you're cutting into holiday time.
I was watching I think your coverage was brilliant, but it was so good. Like I was following it, and it was really nice because like you were really showing the fashion, and you were showing like we could actually see the pieces and see the quality of the design that was there, which was
the quality is fantastic.
Yeah, really good. Like and like you were like the denim and all the different things that you were showing. Like I thought it was really 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 good, and I'm wondering whether them as a show is like they're notorious for, in Copenhagen, obviously for the fashion week there and for all those like influencers, and they all seem to have babies at the moment. And I wonder whether it's like having a combination of people like yourself that really, your stuff was brilliant, it's talking straight to industry, but maybe trying to get more of those influencers up the stairs, to kind of speak to those brands and try and make those connections, because that in the long run is worth it as well. But yeah, I must say the quality of collections, because I was totally spying on what you were doing, was really good. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No, I was impressed. And there were some new names there that I hadn't seen before.
Ooh, tell us.
Well, I think some of them are at Playtime. Bruno Nation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
which
really
is
good.
a very nice. And Haydensick, obviously, which we know from Italy. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it, but Haydensick.
Yeah, I can't. People laughed at me, but I think it's hide and seek, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. But they're cool though. Very cool.
Very cool. So given that I don't go to Playtime, it's nice to catch up on some of those brands. There was an interesting one from Germany called Dana Made, and it's Mum and Mini Me. But there is also a very large kids collection and a very large women's collection. They're not all mummy and me styles. And it was vivid. It was so bright. You know how Scandinavia's a little muted?
Yeah,
then
beige. You're so kind then.
And this stand, well, it tends to be more greys and slate blue and
yeah. It's actually I love all that
palish green these days. But this was vivid pink and orange and yellow and red, and it was like, whoa.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check them out. They sound great.
Stood out. Yeah.
Yeah, they sound great. But I do think those the influencers in Copenhagen and the style in Copenhagen, it is more colourful, isn't it? At the moment, it's like
at the moment, yes.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's very cool. Cool. And then, so obviously, anything to feedback and gossip or anything like that in the background, or did you do anything?
I don't think there's much gossip.
Just thought I'd try.
We did do something.
Ooh, what did you do?
We took a half day out. We went to the Danish Museum of I can't remember what the name of it is now, but it's very modern. I think
Okay.
it's the Modern Danish Museum or the Danish Museum of Modern or something like that. I had an exhibition, 100 Years of Danish Textiles.
Oh,
So that
lovely.
was very nice.
Yeah,
And
I must say that they always seem to have, there's always so much to do there, isn't there?
yeah,
It's like, it's such a beautiful,
and
beautiful
we had a
city.
lovely evening in Soho House.
Get you.
Lovely sit down dinner and
Oh,
a bit of a party afterwards,
oh,
which
I'm
is a
jealous.
fantastic building on the river because it was an old ferry terminal. So it was like 1920s design. So that, yeah. So tell us about New York then.
So it was so hot. It's like been the
Oh,
hottest summer in the whole. I mean, I'm so
I would have
Scottish for this.
died. Oh,
No, I have honestly, I have been moaning for so many years about being cold because I'm Scottish, and then the minute it's like the hottest summer I've ever known in my entire life, it was so hot. But New York was really, because obviously I went with my two daughters because Richard couldn't go and film. So that was in itself was a really fun thing to do because, you know, you realize that you've been training them up for years and then suddenly you get to a point where they're actually really useful. So
oh, I'm pleased to hear that.
yeah, so we were out in New York and Lulu was filming and Hattie was helping me and we really got into that New York lifestyle of, you know, like going to get the cold brew and you're walking along and you know, you get your bagel from here and all this kind of stuff. So that was great.
They're a
And
fantastic age for that as well. They
oh,
could really
amazing.
appreciate it, and
Yeah, I mean,
but at the same time, it's quite mind blowing. You know, the first time you go to New York blows your mind completely because it just looks like the movies.
yeah, well, they were with us like 2 years ago or whatever,
Oh,
and
so they have seen it.
but it
Yeah.
was complete, like you say, it was completely different, you know, just so much, so, like, because, and just before I get into the show, but it was really interesting was that you know, obviously they're on social media and they follow different people on YouTube. And when they were there, they just wanted to kind of live there. And they'd seen, my eldest had seen that there's some girls that she follows on YouTube were doing a meet and greet and you can kind of sign up for it. And she didn't get like the place, but she got on like a waiting list or whatever. And we were just like, oh, let's just go down there, you know, and like as per usual, total spammy, like I just am so Glaswegian, you know, like, I'm just like chat away to the door girl, you know, oh, we're here from Scotland, you know, very embarrassing. I was the oldest person there, but it was so cool. It was like a collab between a matcha matcha coffee house, is that actually a thing? But like a matcha house, I don't know, you know. And with the influencers, and it was so cool. It was like you go in, they give you a free matcha. I got really excited, and then we went down and met the girls, and they were like really, really nice, and they've got like so many followers. And then my other daughter got really excited because there's another girl that she follows, and she didn't realize she was going to be there because it was another collab. And I just thought, what are we doing in kids fashion, man? We should be doing
Yeah.
collabs with matcha. We should be doing, like, there's loads of collab opportunities with coffee houses with mums and babies. And I feel
Yeah,
like we're
true.
not hitting the mark, you know, because it was such a lovely, lovely experience. I got a minion matcha that had a little bit of cake in it. I mean, only in America. Oh, and also I couldn't stop laughing because I asked for an oat. They say, what milk do you want? And I was like, oh, I'll have oat milk. And then the next thing is when they put the cream on top, when it came, I said to my daughter, I was like, I don't think this is like oat cream or anything like that. I think it must be like milk, dairy cream. And she was like, oh, it's just preference, mum. And I was like, oh, I didn't think. I was like preference. I was just like, anyway, it was, the whole thing was really cool. I got loads of like daft mirror selfies where I'm there and they're in a queue waiting to talk to influencers that I have no idea who it is. And then the funny thing is, I don't know why I'm telling you all this before I tell you about the show, but it was such an experience in New York with them because I realized I'm so out of touch with everything. We walked back into town, right up into Manhattan. and there was a guy on a ladder, and there's this guy on Instagram and TikTok. He's got millions and millions of followers. I had never seen him before, and he asked people about their jobs and interviews them. And the girls had really wanted me to go, like, to try it and go on it, because they were like, "Oh, he will never guess your job. He will never guess your job." But it was like, it was 100 degrees. We were waiting until this girl who was really cool, who actually had the coolest job, she was a beekeeper. So I was like after the beekeeper, and like honest to God, you know when you know that somebody really doesn't like you? I don't know what it was, but it just did not click at all. So they did film it, but it will never, ever, I think, ever be circulated. But then what was really cool was that my kids had put that on their stories or stuff, just a picture of me.
He probably couldn't understand you.
Do you
Your
think
accent.
so? But he was German.
Oh, okay then.
But anyway, I got like cool street cred because everybody's like their friends follow that, but it'll never surface. There was something about I don't know. I think I annoyed him. I think I tried to play it like too much of a game. But anyway, so apart from that and meeting lots of influencers and doing crazy things in New York, I went to Playtime New York. It was interesting. I felt, because I was making some content in the morning, like I was going to chat with some buyers, and I felt it was just, usually there's a bit of a queue, but actually it was a little bit quiet, I felt, on the Sunday, but then the Monday was really, really busy. So I felt like it made up for the Sunday, and there was like chat because I was asking people, and some people were saying, "Oh, it's something to do with summer camps or something like that," and it's like a visitor day for summer camps. You know, like I always find this stuff is so crazy that you can never judge what will be the thing that somebody will say that some people aren't there and some people are there and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It was there. Everybody's doing their utmost best at the moment, and I think it's super, super, super commendable, because it is so out there. There's bigger things going on, you know. There's bigger you know, it is, and people are really just devastated, you know, about what's happening and trying to get on with their business, trying to do things. But actually, you know, I had a really long conversation, because you don't know if people want to talk to you about everything politically or not, you know. I had a really long conversation with a chap, and I think there's just a vibe, you know, and underneath of there's a bigger picture out there. But having said that, what was interesting at the show business-wise was that obviously there'd been some brands that hadn't, you know, that had made the decision that they weren't going to go. So then that freed up some spaces that had been like on waiting lists or whatever. Like, so there we saw like bigger brands like No, Tiny Cottons, Little Creative Factory, you know, some of those brands from that era, all came back to the show. And that was really nice, you know, and
I guess also for European brands, the tariff thing is, well, it's kind of fixed though now, isn't it? They know what they're dealing with.
Yeah, they know what they're dealing with, but also the problem with it as well is like a lot of them, I guess they were getting orders directly online as well from, you know, from the States, but lots of brand stores are deciding not to send to the States now. And I was talking with a brand the other day as well, as like, how long can you eat up these things? You know, like as a tiny little business, how long can you take that cost on yourselves? You know, it's like, I do think there's this horrible situation with brands like of having to be real. Like I would advise brands to be ruthless with this and look at other, like try and develop other markets or whatever in some ways, because this at the moment it's a real issue. And if you can get, I think a lots of Chinese manufacturers and everything are finding ways around it for their brands. You know, it's like, where is your factory? Oh, my factory's in Jamaica. Yeah, right, it's in Jamaica. But it's got an address in Jamaica. But I don't know. I just feel for everybody with it. You know, still saw lots of good buyers in. Some of the big guys were in. the Jewish customer out there, it's just huge, you know,
Yeah.
like for independent brands, design-led brands, that is, you know, it is such an important customer for them, but it comes with its own problems because different stores or people want different orders, so they're asking for a unique collection tailored to their stores. So they might want this style, but they want it in you know, this fabric. So it's bespoke collections per store, which can be, which you know, I'm sure brands are grabbing at the moment because they need to. But it is like, you know, a managerial problem for the brands, you know. But then it makes sense also for the Jewish customer because they want to be unique. You know, they want to put out very quickly that they've got this collection coming in and they want to sell it super, super fast.
But
So
this has come from adult brands, because a few years ago, adult brands started doing that. And like Selfridges would have unique pieces, or Net-a-Porter would have unique pieces. So I think this has spread them from the adult world.
yeah. I think also as well is like it's just socially a thing as well, you know, in the fact like it's like, well, this is our unique I don't know, pad mod collection for us, you know, and then the next store is like, that's ours. So it's I kind of all of it makes sense to me business wise, but then it's
Yeah.
difficult for the brands to manage. But then at the moment, a sale is a sale. So it's, I would say, and I've been chatting a lot about this recently, you know, I think globally the market is tough now. You know, it's just tough for independent clothing labels. And I think, I just think that you've got to find your avenues of ways of doing business currently and keep your head above the water. I was so negative. I'm so sorry,
I
people.
know.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's
But
but
real.
but there's I mean, I reckon that's our job, Linda. We've got to say it like it is, you know. And there is, I truly believe there's plenty of business out there. It's just you need to be working at it at the moment, and you need to be finding, you know, different buyers, going to you know, contacting different people, and then also look at your collections. Like, look at your collections. Look if you're not selling, don't always think that it's the other person, right? Sometimes you do need to tweak your branding. Sometimes you need to tweak your photography. Sometimes I was actually chatting the other day to somebody, and I think I'm starting to think that maybe you should, like, if you're not having the same results at the same stand spot, like, I think sometimes as well, buyer behavior, I know myself at the shows, is I walk down the same aisles, right? Especially sometimes to get to the toilet or to different things like that. And you cut through things, and when you've seen the brand and maybe you've not liked their collection for one season, sometimes you skip by it. And sometimes I wonder whether it's worth changing up your location if you're doing the trade show again, actually having a different stand, a different position, and you might get re-seen. You know, I think there's lots of things of kind of changing things up. So
There are definitely, particularly at Paris, aisles to be in and aisles not to be in. And that's quite tricky, I think. Because I think if you've got a stand in an aisle to be in, which does have good traffic, there's no point taking the risk to move somewhere else. But if you're in an aisle that is pretty slow,
I don't know, because I think as well, some of the things is, so there's some brands that are doing that have evolved, right? Whilst these other brands kind of did well at a certain point, right? And then maybe one of them's still doing quite well, but maybe one of them that's like always positions them beside the other one because they think they're of similar par. But there's other brands, right, that actually have started to grow, that are actually getting lots of Korean buyers in and everything like that. And I know, like, the ones that are. And, like, I would position myself next to them. and change it up. But then that's my opinion. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but I would
Also,
change it up.
the fairs aren't always that flexible about position as well. So,
I
it
don't know. I think when you're young, they're not
yeah.
flexible about position. But I think when you're an established brand and everything like that, I think there can be a bit more understanding about position. I would say. I hopefully think they would
Anyway,
be.
okay. What about the clothes?
Oh, the clothes. Oh God, do I see any clothes? I'm busy off interviewing French brands and everything like that. What was the clothes? So who did I see? It's the same stuff actually about the pretty dresses. I love this brand Et Liberty. It's like I think they're based in Hong Kong, like super pretty occasion dresses, and I just love them. They're really like I don't know, they're a bit like Nikolai or something like
Right.
that, but they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're really nice. Also really nice team, and actually they're coming across to Scotland, so I might actually be meeting up with them for a coffee at some point. Who else? Nu's collection was really interesting because obviously we know them for the fact that they're very unisex, but they've kind of changed it up a bit, and they're kind of they had this real bold pink, which interestingly my girls completely fell in love with in denim. It was really cool. So what else was there? Obviously, Molo. So Molo,
Oh,
they've got
because they weren't
such
at CIFF this time.
yeah, I know. It's rotten, isn't it? But I think it's just got too quiet for them, you know. But they've got such a big collection and everything. But they do it. I think they're starting to do it. They've been doing it for a couple of seasons where they do this like Molo map. Actually, I've got a T-shirt on that has that I got from a thrift store. It says missing and it's got Where's Wally on it. But it's like their T-shirt. It's a bit like Where's Wally, but it's like it's got all like their team in it, and it's got like lots of people in it, and I don't know. It's just the coolest thing. It's a little bit like a computer game, but it's got loads and loads to look at. So like I remember as a kid I used to love things like that. Do you
Yeah.
remember those funny puzzles we used to have that were like sporty ones or things, and they were all doing different things? I actually think I had a nude one. Do you remember those back in the day?
No.
The German ones. Do you remember? Was that just a very weird puzzle at my caravan when I was younger? But yeah, so I was a bit obsessed with this puzzle. I can understand, it's all coming back to me now. But there's like, it's this T-shirt. Obviously, it's none of that, but it's got so much going on in it, and I love it. And the team are very funny because it's very, for them, it's incredibly personal. Personable to them. It's like all about them, and it's very cool. So that was good. The basement was really busy. I don't understand. I've never been to the basement when it was really busy, because I went down there to give them some love, and I was like, oh, nobody. Because my joke was went down there. Did you see my Kidswear Therapy T-shirt? Did you see it?
Yes.
Do you want one, Linda?
No.
So I had a tie-dye Kidswear Therapy T-shirt, and I was going down to give people Kidswear Therapy, and no, it was really busy, so I just kind of had to muck around and do stuff instead. But I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I think with everything that's happening, right, with kids fashion, and I think, to be honest, like the giftable section and like toys and all that is still really, it's stable. Okay, it's all right. Kids fashion is incredibly difficult at the moment, and I'm wondering whether we're seeing a little bit in the collections, like, I'm not seeing like suddenly the hero piece at a stand that you're suddenly like, wow, that's the most incredible hero piece. Is that another bad thing to say? Oh God.
I don't know. I mean, one of the things, the feedback in Copenhagen was the number of individual boutiques that have closed. And it seems to be, again, we're going through a period where, a lot of individual stores seem to have gone. One of the brands told me she'd lost 12 boutiques over the Scandi area, not just Denmark. That's a lot to lose. And it seems maybe after COVID, there was a lot of enthusiasm. People started opening up again, opening small stores, and they're just hitting problems. Things have slowed down a bit.
Yeah, I've got there should when this goes out, this podcast, there'll be an article up on Pirouette about it. I got an email through a day or so ago that Little Gather, it's a store in New Zealand. It's quite nice, a really nice store. I think they've got 120,000 followers. They've got a mailing list of 22,000, all this kind of stuff. They're decided to sell up. I mean, they're selling the business as a going concern, and it's I think they're selling it for 100K New Zealand dollars plus stock. But I think more and more we will see this. I don't know whether, and I actually think more and more because I saw last season more people buying into the business. Which I think they will sell it, because I do think that there are businesses there that do work. But then I do think there was a lot of businesses that had a lot of subsidies through COVID that you were able to carry on for a certain amount, and it kept everybody afloat for a certain amount of time. But yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, if anybody wants to buy the Little Gatherer, it's up for sale.
Or to all our New Zealand listeners.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? Down in that area, man, in Australia and that, we seem to, that was the people who were like, "Hi, Katie." That was really exciting. Cool. So I guess, to be honest, the show, it was, obviously people were really, just say at the end, obviously people were really excited to move on for the LA show. Mm-hmm. The feedback from that seems to be, which I knew what it was going to be, because it took place at LA Kids Market, which is basically a big kind of showroom area, LA for kids stuff. So then they took, a couple of showrooms. So it's I think it was, it sounded like it went well enough. And, I also believe with these things, always start something. It takes really quite a long time to establish something, you need to, you can't just make a judgment on something because you've done one show or one time. You do need to, and also for the organizers, for Playtime and for everybody like that, they need to get into it for a couple of seasons to kind of to learn, to grow, to see as well. So that,
people.
Yeah, exactly. To get that network there. So the feedback was that, it was like a showroom. Wow, that's what we thought it was going to be. So that's great, So that was good. And they had some really good brands. So that's fantastic.
Okay. One positive I forgot about, Copenhagen Colours, who's they're one of the best brands now at the show. They're really great. They just opened a store in Denmark. So there's one new shop there.
They were in New York, but I was so busy with different stuff in New York, and when the girls are there as well, I was just trying to, you've got your mum hat on as well as you've got your work hat on. So they were there. They seemed to be quite busy
Lovely
as well.
Collection. They were one of the ones with quite a lot of denim, quite a lot of the quilted and ruffled denim.
Have they done a collab or
that.
something with boot stock? They've got a cowboy boot.
They're cowboy boots, but they were in the winter. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, she's taller than me. She is so amazingly beautifully tall. It's when I walk, because we kind of walk past each other smiling quite a few times. I'm and my girls walk past each other. Wow, she is so tall. I was like, isn't she? And she does it, and she's got lovely, lovely, lovely. What do you call it? What's it called? Posture. Something I don't have. Posture and tact. Something I don't have. There we go. She has both. Right.
Posture and poise.
Posture and poise. Right. So do you have any other news? That's what I was just going to finish up. Anything
I don't think
coming
I
up
do.
or anything?
No. I did get an email the other day. There's a fashion show in Paris for the group that's Abercrombie and Levi's, and I
Oh,
can't
yeah, yeah.
remember what the group name is now. And I got an invite, but I don't think they are taking anyone out there. But that's kind of, they're doing it with charity.
Oh, that's good.
So that's news. But otherwise, I mean, you'll be looking forward. Your next one will be Turkey, won't it?
Yeah, so obviously, we've got a series going out on Pirouette on the IG and also on the blog that is kind of giving people more information about CBME Turkey, about that market. I went out there in May and had a chat.
I saw your amazing dress video.
Oh, did you? What did you think of that, Linda?
Well, it's an eye-opener.
You know, those first 3 seconds in a Instagram
True.
reel really count,
True.
you know? Honestly, I could not stop laughing. I had the idea of doing that, right? Because I thought, oh, it's a brilliant opener. It's such a laugh, you know, and it's quite funny for me to do it. And like, we organized it and we went there. And I honestly, I could not stop laughing. I got so into it. Like, I, honest to God, I started off being like, oh, this is so tongue in cheek. This is so like, and then I was like, honestly, I was like blue steel, like giving it the looks and everything. It was so ridiculous. But I did learn, like, I'll have to put out some behind the scenes stuff because I did learn what my worst job would be in life. And it's sitting on a rooftop in Istanbul in blazing sun with an umbrella with a hole in it, chucking chicken skins for seagulls to fly up so that they look good for photos. It's the worst. Honestly, the guy looked blooming miserable, which that is the worst job. So anybody listening, if you think of any worse jobs that you've seen in any fashion things, tell me. But that was pretty bad. So we've got that coming. And then I'm starting a series on the blog called Katie's Mini Monday Memos. Because like, I'm wanting to kind of share some kind of thoughts kind of on the blog quickly every Monday. I'm going to do that. And obviously we'll just get going with the podcast again and see where it takes us. If anybody is listening and they really want to come on the podcast, I don't know, promote your brand or, you know, your business, or if you've got any topics.
Talk about your problems.
Yeah, if you've got some kidswear problems, like we all do, man.
We are Kidswear therapy.
Yeah, we can give the therapy. I think my therapy is mostly hugs, by the way, I've decided.
Well, you'll have to do them virtually.
Okay, virtual hugs for everyone.
Virtual hugs.
Well, Linda.
That's the roundup.
So we're back on it again. Oh, actually, do you know what? Just really quickly, completely forgot. In September, Maison and Objet, on the 4th to the 8th of September. And also in Germany, there is Kinderjugend from the 9th to the 11th. So this trade fair thing just keeps going on. Never ends. But we can try and bring you some news from there. We can see what people are saying. So cool. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed our podcast and want to show some love, you can leave us a rating or review wherever it is you listen right now. Kidswear Therapy is a Pirouette Media production.